Hi everyone, as promised I am back to do another part of this lovely page from Agotapop, and I thought, as I had said I was going to, I'm going to do these elements here. I'll come a bit closer in a minute, but I just want to explain. So we've got the bottle, the crystals on a book and the candle. Now I'm not going to do the whole page, there's so many different elements. I am trying to decide though whether to do another video tomorrow, but just pick out a few elements to do, because by the time we've done today's we'd have done 3 bottles, so I'm not sure I need to show you any more, and then we'd have done a book and things like that. So I think I might just pick out a few elements, like maybe the hat, the crystal ball, perhaps things like that, to just do a few others and then complete it myself. And obviously I will share with you the completed picture if you wanted to sort of copy some of the elements, which is absolutely fine. But I just felt that doing the whole thing, firstly I'm just going to run out of time. If I want to do it in a lot of detail, then there's not going to be time to do it all before Halloween is finished. And also I know that the longer I spend on a page, the less views I get. I think people get bored, so I don't want to do that either. So we do these 3 elements today. Probably. I'll see how long that goes on for. I might finish the whole shelf, but I may just do those 3. Ooh, a pigeon just landed on the roof opposite me. So come in close. I also haven't got a masses of time today, but actually I think I'll put the bottle in the middle. That's as close as I can come. It's just I know my camera tends to blur the edges a little bit sometimes. Yeah, I'm keeping an eye on my tablet, as I often do, because I'm just choosing colours for my bottle, because my children are struggling with trains today. I think I'm going to go for a bottle green. I rather like green for a bottle. Now this is deep cobalt green. It's a really dark, slightly bluey green, which I think would be nice for this bottle. I do want to do it a little bit differently though to the other 2. I think I'll start with this and then I'll use a different colour, so it's a that's what I'll do. So I use this and then just do that so that it's slightly lighter. Yeah, it's one of those days when we've got storms up north, and that's supposed to have been affecting train travel up north, but the trains they get don't come from up there. They actually come from London, so that should be okay. But it seems like they've had a breakdown. A train broke down on the track, so the boys told me this morning. So most of this morning's trains were cancelled from London. It broke down between London and here. I'm going to grab the, what's the colour called? Chrome Oxide Green Fiery. It's a big old mouthful. So, oops, sorry, that was my sharpness scraping on the desk. So that meant that there was only 1 train running, which was running late, and they would have both been late. One of them got a bus, the other one there isn't a bus, so he had to wait for that late train and arrived 20 minutes late, although he said it was fine once he got there. But he thought it was quite funny that I'm trying to just make a little light in the middle, that someone actually arrived much later than him, like 2 hours late. So he thought that was funny, but I don't know if they had tried to come on a train or quite what happened. But anyway, they may have just got up late, students. But he seemed okay once he got there. He was tired out because he'd walked to the station. His brother had caught up with him, walked really fast. I'm going back to my deep cobalt green to get those edges a lot darker. I'm just going to go over what I've done really. Yes, his brother walked too fast for him. Then they went into town to look at buses, and then he went back to the station again. So he was exhausted before he even got there. But anyway, he seemed in good spirits once he arrived, so that's all good. I think it's these things, you sit there and worry and you're tired out and you don't know what's going to happen, you're stressed. And then as soon as you sort of get into your whatever it is you were going to do, it can all disappear. That's good. I'm going to also go back to this other one, the Chrome Oxide Green Fiery, do a little bit more. So, but coming back, the train hasn't been repaired, so there's a shortage. There's only one train this afternoon, so we've got to both try and get it. One of them was going to leave a little bit later anyway, because he wants to pop to the library, so he'll have time to do that, which is good. Now we've got this little bit, the sort of rim bit there. I'm going to do that in the same colour, so using the deep cobalt green first. But his brother was going to leave a bit earlier, but that train's been cancelled, so he's going to have to hang around a bit. But I'm sure he'll manage. And now back to our chrome oxide green fiery. Oops, to do the rest. Oops, sorry. To do the rest of this bit. That's it. And then I'm going to put in my shadows actually with my dark green this time. Oops. On the last one I did it with a, I think I did it with a Payne's grey. I'm going to try it with a deep cobalt green and see if it works. Really need to get in there under that black line. I think that's worked okay, and I'm going to do a bit under the label. It doesn't need to be quite as dark because it's a bit lighter down in the middle there. Okay, now our stopper, I'm going to do it the same colour as the bottle. You know, I said on this one I thought maybe it would have been better in the same colour, so that's what I'm going to do this time. Now I've got other bottles to do on this page, and we'll try and do them all a little bit differently to each other, just so that I don't know how. I haven't got any ideas at the moment, but just so that they aren't all or most of them the same. So this one I'm just using the deep cobalt green for the stopper, like that. And I'm thinking, would it show through there? No, I'm just going to leave it. Now our label, it could be any colour really. I quite like it to match the bottle sometimes. I'm wondering whether to just go with the really light, I think I will, with this colour. Whoops, the light phthalo green. We use this for something over here, I can't remember what. I think it was a leaf. Now it might be a little bit darker here than here, just because of the shape of the bottle. Maybe a bit lighter on the front. Like that. Now I want to put some white on, shine on it. I'm doing this as I go along because I'm moving across and I'm right-handed. I know that I'm not going to smudge it, but normally I would probably leave my white pen, whoops, to the end. That bit that, there we go. If you're quick, you can erase it with your hand. But if you're not, you can scratch it off with your fingernail if you're clever. That looks a bit too contrived, that shine. I'm not really liking it, but it's done now. Now, whoop, my pen's running away. Now, I'm quite interested by this. We have a book, presumably a spell book. We have these crystals and we have this bit underneath. Now, what I think this is probably some ore. I think maybe the crystals are a sort of position within some ore, like some rock, you know, so like it's quartz and it's a quartz ore or something like that. So I'm thinking carefully about colours. I'm thinking maybe this would be like a warm brown, so let's do that first while I'm thinking about what to do with the rest. So this is the warm grey 4. I think that might work. I'm going to just pop a layer down, see how it looks. It's okay, but it needs a bit more work. Let's go for the warm grey 6 and do a few bits of shadow. I'm thinking maybe along the bottom where it's on the book. I'm assuming it's not growing out of the book. I'm assuming it's resting on top of it. A bit in there. Just take that colour up and around a little bit. There, I'm going to leave that there. It's not going to be shiny because I'm thinking it's like just a dull stone rock thing. Now, what colour for the crystals? I have been tempted to do them pinks and purples and blues, or greens. So shall we could try some red. Let's do some reds. I'm going to actually start with quite an intense red. We've got the dark red, and we might use some lighter reds as well. Now, let's restart. I think we'll start in, see this little tiny one here, we've got that little bit in there. I'm just going to do that bit first. I'm going to make it a little bit darker at the bottom and lighter at the top. Like that. And I'm wondering whether to do all these more sort of, the sides that are sort of almost pointing downwards, I think they would be a little bit darker. So I'm going to do them all. But I'm going to fade them as we come up. Oh, that's a loud train going by. Obviously not all cancelled. Though sometimes we get the goods trains going by. Excuse me, even when the drivers are striking, the goods trains sometimes go through. So I'm doing the same thing on all of them. Now I notice above these there are little pluses in above, as if they're sort of sparkles. Now I'm going to ignore those today because I will only deal with that once I have done my background. Now the background of this, because it's some shelving, I'll probably do it sort of wooden. There we go. Oh, it's suddenly raining. So I probably will keep it quite light because I want the objects to really stand out. So I might even not use a Polychromos colour because there's a few light browns I could potentially use, but I might just go for a beige, like a Prisma. This is the deep scarlet red. I think it's a little bit lighter than these reds, and I'm going to use them on this side. Just so we've got a slightly different colour. Yes, so I might go for that beige, or I might just use like the raw umber or something and just do a really, really light layer. I just don't want it being too dark. But the shelves that we can see are actually going to be lighter because they're further forward. So this bit in the back needs some darkness in it. Now I rather like doing shelves so they're really dark. That's this another option, is to make them really, really dark, especially in here. Like there's lots of shadows and things. But I'm still sort of thinking it through. But I could start with the light and see if it works, and if it doesn't I can put dark on top. I can't do that the other way around. Okay, so that's quite an obviously different red, isn't it? I don't know whether to go for a lighter one. I think I will. I'm going to grab this one. Now this is number 118. I'm just going to look up for you what the name of it is. It's the scarlet red, and I'm going to use this for the top of all of them. This one's quite small. There are lots of different ways to do this, but I'm going to stick with just fading it up. This is quite orangey, isn't it? And we're going to just do something else as well before we use a white pen to pattern it, because that's to put a pattern on it, to put some shine. Oh, that's a bit scratchy. It's a bit unusual for a Polychromos pencil. I don't know if you heard that scratching. Now what I'm going to do is put a bit of this over what we've done already, so that it the colours look a bit more similar. I feel they're just a bit too detached from each other. And then, actually I might do the book before I get my white pen out. It's my phone. Right, I am back from the telephone call. Now I'm going to do the book and then I'm going to finish off the crystals, the quartz or whatever it is, because I want to use some white pen and it may sort of smudge and things like that. So let's do the book first. Now I'm wondering whether these pieces here might be like sort of gold and then this be coloured. I'd quite like it. If I had a spell book, I'd quite like it to be gold. Don't know about you. So I don't have one. I'm going to start with the dark burnt umber for the edges of the gold and put it at the top and bottom. Yeah, my mum rang, so that's nice. Had a little natter. Also got back in touch with my boys, make sure they're going to get the right train, because only turns out there's only one running this afternoon now, so they need to make sure they get on it. One of them was leaving really early, the other one I had to ring him up to make sure he had got my instructions on that he needed to leave. This is the bistre. So yes, so they're all set, so that's good, so I could come back and record without having to worry about them. I have got my messaging open, and they use Discord, which is like a messenger service that gamers use, but they won't use anything else, so I have to use it. I think we'll go to green gold next. This is my usual sort of gold combination. Now the thing with gold is you want to leave a bit of white for shine. I'm just going to fade that in a bit. And we'll make sure we do that like we did with our copper yesterday. There we go. Whoops. Let's try not to, sorry about that. And now with the yellow, there's all sorts of different choices. I'm going to use this. This is 107, which is the cadmium yellow. But depending on what yellow you use, I'll go over all of it, leave a little white bit, and we'll determine what sort of shade of gold you get, because you can get a sort of darker, more antique look, you can get a new shinier look. Now I'm not very happy with that, it looks quite layered. I'm going to grab this bistre and just try and blend that a little bit. So basically you're going to go over that darker bit and then just try and smooth out that blend a bit. Just so it doesn't look like it's just striped, which is how it feels like it's looking to me. That's better. Now the book itself, what colour do you think an old spell book might be? I was thinking it might be brown, could be purple. Let's go manganese violet. You'll have to believe me that this is the manganese violet, and I'm going to follow this line. So I'm going to make it darker bottom and top and lighter towards the middle. I want to make it look like the spine of our book is curved. I'm trying to show you something that might be, oh yeah, look, this book here has got a curve on its ring, but this book here is completely flat on the end. It depends on the book. I'm going to try and make this one look curved because it's drawn with a curve at each end. So to do that, I'm going to layer up my colour a lot more at the top and bottom and leave a bit of a white line which parallel runs along the same line as our shine line in our gold. Now if that isn't effective enough, I may darken it up a bit, top and bottom, with a darker colour. But we just want to fade it towards the middle like that. And then we can, oops, start to layer it up. It's not so easy on this thin paper, but it's okay. I'll get there slowly. And then do up this one as well. Just the same. And what I can do is, if it doesn't look quite dark enough either end, I can use I might use a blue violet or something. I think that's what it's called. And just darken it slightly. Really get in there with some layers, and in here some layers, and hopefully our book looks a lot more rounded. It certainly does, but I am going to, as I said, go in there with the blue violet just to add a slight bit of shadow sort of depth. Just sharpening it because I don't want loads. I'm just going to go in at the bottom here. Just up from the black line a little bit, down here, just to add a tiny bit of shadowy depth. There we go, that's that. Now I'm going to do the white. Shake up my Posca pen. PC1MR is the one I like. White pens are very personal, so you may have one that you prefer. Now, what I tend to do is make it a bit white on the top, a few bits and dots. A dot and a few lines on it. And it doesn't matter if the black line shows through a little bit, because it will just show what's going on really. But I'm just sort of going over those lines and then putting a few dots, maybe a few lines on the side to make it look shiny. And it's difficult. I mean, if this is quartz is actually not mega shiny. The pink one particularly. But you know, if you want to make it look even more proper shine, you can add some something like this. It's a pearl medium and pan pastel, so that actually you can put some of that on top, and I can't do it now, the pen's wet, and it can add a little bit of a shine. Or you can use a glitter pen to add some proper glittery shine. You know, there's different ways of doing it. Or you can just leave it like that. I'm going to leave it like that for now anyway. So we're going to move on and do our little candle. Now it's quite an interesting candle. We've got 3 drips of wax going on our candle, and we've obviously got our flame with some light coming round, and we've got a little pot that it's sitting in. I'm having a little think firstly about the colour of the pot and the colour of the candle. I know what colour flame I'm going to do. I think actually if I start with the flame, then I know, oh excuse me, yawning, what I'm doing with the flame. So I'll do that first, and then I shall move on to the candle and the pot. So this is 117, which is light cadmium red, and I'm going to put a little bit of red right at the tip. Oops, sorry, it's moving around all over the place. Right at the tip of the candle here, and then just spread it gently down. So I want my colours to really merge into each other, so if you can make that really quite dark at the tip and then less. And then I want an orange. I might use this one. This is the, I think this is the dark cadmium orange. It is. It needs to be sharp. It's a very small flame. I'm not going to do very much with this. I'm basically going to go over what's there, just not quite to the tip, and then just extend that colour just a little bit. Like that. And then I want a lighter orange. I'm going to grab the cadmium orange and bit more. That's looking quite flame-like, but I just want a slightly lighter colour right in the bottom. So I'm going to grab this. This is 108. It is the dark cadmium yellow. Sorry, I might not be able to see that. And I'm just going to finish it off down here. There we go. And the more colours you use, the easier it is to blend them up together, I find. I mean, it's a very small space, we've still used a lot of colour. Now we've got this sort of halo around here, and I think that's trying to indicate there's a shine. Now, I've just had a thought that, like, this is magic, so I probably should have, I've just noticed a bit of crystal I haven't covered with white pen. So I probably shouldn't have just done a normal flame. You know, being as it's magic, maybe the flame would have been a different colour. It's too late now. So I think I'm just going to do that little halo of colour with this 107, the cadmium yellow. Okay, so just around here. I wouldn't normally do this with a candle picture because that isn't how candles work, but because it's drawn, that's what I'm going to do. Now, candle itself, we've got red crystals, we've got purple and different things going on there, so that's not a colour I'm going to go for. I'm just looking at what we've used, what we haven't used. We've got some leaves up here, so I don't want to do, but then I can make them any colour. Let's do some reds, but I'm going to use this red. This is the Pompeian red, so it's a bit of a different red to this, and by the time I've added a few other colours it won't look so red, hopefully. So I'm going to colour the whole thing in this. This is going to be my lightest bit, will actually be this colour, but a lot of it won't be this light. I'm just trying to get a reasonably even colour across. There we go. So my next colour is going to be significantly darker. It's going to be this. This is the burnt carmine. Excuse me. Now what I want to do is to make it darker each side and lighter in the middle, so it looks like it's shaped. I've got to take the shape of that dribble like that, and same here, we've got, and then fade it, whoops, towards the middle. Now, not sure what I'd do with that bit. I think it needs some colour on it. A bit darker under there. I'm hoping it looks a bit more rounded. It's not really dark enough for my liking. I'm going to use this. This is the Caput Mortuum Violet. It's a really nice dark colour, and I'm going to sharpen it so I can get a lot of pigment out of it. And just emphasise that there and there. Under here I want a big bit of shadow where these sort of candle dribbles are. And a bit here too. There we go. Now the pot it's sitting in, yeah, I'm actually going to use the white pen to do some shine on the dribbly bits. There. Now the pot, I'm thinking I might just do it black, but whoop, but I want to start, I think, with a grey base and then move to black. So I'm going to use the cold grey 6 to start with, and then I may add some black. So here, dark. Actually, I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to keep it grey and make it look like it's pewter. So I'm going to put dark colour on the edges here. And then go to a slightly lighter one. Like that. And then this is the cold grey 4. So I'm going to continue what we were doing. So I want a sort of light shiny bit in the middle. And here, I think it would be more like to be up there on the top of the handle like that. But here we'll try and line out in the middle with that one. Just sort of going over a bit. Now I just need a little bit more shadow in a few places, so I'm going to use my black now for that. Just give it a sharpen so it's really pointy. Black. And under here. Just on the edges. Sorry, I stopped talking. Concentrating. There we go. Now, just looking around. Yeah, I think I'm happy with those. I'm going to come out a tad so that you can see all the things we've done today. So these 3 items are what we've done. So that is me done for today. I'm not sure what I'm going to pick for the next one. Yeah, I'll have a think, because as I say, I'm not going to do everything. I don't want too much repetition. There's sort of mushrooms which I've done before, there's cauldrons I've done before, so you know, I'll have a think, and we'll do maybe one more video from here, but I'll have a think about what I'm going to do. But for now, thank you so much for watching. Remember to click the like button and see all the little sparkles, and the subscribe. It's very pretty, it's well worth it. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Have a really super day and happy colouring.